So thank you for being here for this edition of the Canmore Trust Podcast. We will be dealing with the subjects of mental ill health and of suicide. And so as a result, your safety is paramount to us here at the Canmore Trust. So if anything of today's podcast, anything of today's discussion activates emotions or concerns within you about your own safety, would you please reach out? You can engage with the Canmore Trust any time of the day or night by texting Canmore, C-A-N-M-O-R-E, to 85258. Or you can call the Papyrus 24/7 Hope line on 0800 068 4141. Or you can contact the Samaritans any time of the day or night on 116 123. The Canmore Trust's website, www.thecanmoretrust.co.uk, has an extensive list of resources for anyone seeking help on any aspect of support for well-being, mental ill health or suicide. Please take a look and please use it. So if you're struggling, please reach out. If you're concerned about someone else, then please reach out. Thank you. And so I now turn to my guest for today, and I have an amazing man with me today who I'm just so delighted that he's found time to be with us. John Bell, so good to have you. John, we find you in the middle of a walk from John O'Groats to Land's End. We just happened to land on a rest day when you're in Glasgow. It's a delight to have you with us. We're going to come back to why you're doing this walk and why you're dressed as you are. It's a great story, but first of all, just welcome. It's great to have you with us.
It's absolutely amazing to be here. I want to say thank you for taking the time on your Sunday as well, day off, day of rest, to have me here today.
Well, it's honestly, it's our pleasure, and I'm so looking forward to hearing the conversation, John. But can we just kick off by you telling us about who John Bell is? What's your background? Where are you from? What are you about?
Wow. If I'm totally, how far do you want me to go back?
Well, as far as feeds into the story that we need to hear from you, how about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think a lot of people, I think, as I was growing up, sort of thing, I was quite a confident sort of person. I was always sort of very boisterous and played up to the audience and just wanted to be accepted. But inside I was quite insecure, very insecure boy. And yeah, I ended up joining the army as soon as I reached adulthood. Joined the army, spent just over about 5.5 years, and went into the prison service for about 8 years after that. So I learnt to develop a strong mindset through the career choices that I had. I came out of the prison service and went into private security and worked at all different levels doing that, and went into management. And like I say, that taught me a lot, but what was to come next was truly the test of rebuilding myself from scratch as well.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess that leads me to ask the question, given that this is a podcast which touches on mental ill health and suicide, I know that you've been deeply impacted by that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that, and in particular about your lovely son, Jake?
Of course, I love to talk about Jake. There's no better question you can ask a bereaved parent, as you know. Wow, and you've caught me at such a raw moment as well, which I'm so glad, because it's in the middle of a challenge where you do so much self-reflecting as well when you're doing these things. But so my son Jake was very much like myself, very boisterous, wanting to be accepted. I saw this in him, and like any father, like any parent, you want the best for them. So. But I seen him growing into a teenager, and managed to reach 15. I've started saying 15 and a half now, because think back to being that age, that half matters, don't it? So every time somebody asks, I still give him that extra half a year.
Great.
But no, he yeah, we lost Jake. Unfortunately, took his own life in July 2020, and that just shattered everything. Uh, Everything I ever knew about myself, who I was as a person, and I was like, how am I going to survive this? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it impacted me excuse me, sorry, very deeply, and I didn't know how I was going to survive. And I've got other children and people that need me, so I had to sort of start putting things in place with immediate effect, and I was just going through the motions, and it was that first year was, I want to say, the worst, but it's where I learned to start to rebuild myself despite not wanting to be here. And I had to literally go back through everything I ever knew in my own mind, because I didn't like living in my own mind and where I was, because I didn't want to be here anymore. So yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for your raw honesty, John, of the impact of.
I need to be careful because I've been putting Tiger Balm on me Achilles tendon this morning. You know, you rub your eyes with Tiger Balm.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
I hope it's not too painful a question, but do you have any understanding as to what might have contributed to Jake's suicide?
Do you know what? I've learned to believe that everything in life is a contributing factor.
Okay.
Contributing factor. You'll know yourself, and many people listening into this, that we have to sort of go through the blame stages, and we'll blame ourselves as well, where it is a part of the grieving process. It wouldn't be fair for me to say certain things because I'm here to tell my story and not what happened, because we all blame ourselves. But I think in the grand scheme of things, Jake struggled massively to regulate his emotions, and he made a choice. He didn't know the consequences. Even the courts ruled it out as an accident, despite it knowingly being a suicide, because we don't talk about methods, as you know, do we, with suicide prevention. Yeah, and they ruled Jake's death out as an accident. So, yeah, I just think it was very upset at the time. And you imagine back to being a teenager. Do you know when you don't get your own way, sort of thing? If you're a rebel, it was a lovable little rogue, little rebel. Do you know what I mean? Proper boy. And if you don't get your own way, how many people have, like, at that teenage years, oh, I wish I'd never been born, and do you know what I mean? And why did you even have me in the first place? And that woe is me sort of mindset. And I truly believe it was an impulsive decision based on his emotions at the time, because he didn't get his own way in something.
And I think it's something we're seeing more of, this result of impulsive emotion and not understanding the consequences of those moments. I wonder if I can take you back, John, to those early days after Jake died.
Of course.
How did you cope?
The first thing was, as soon as I left the hospital, when we had to make the decision to turn the machines off, I needed to make sure all my other children was okay. And that's where my energy went. But not long after that, I was due to go up Ben Nevis with a friend of mine who was an accounts director, who was carrying a 20-kilogram boulder up different mountains each weekend and ending on Ben Nevis. And
as you do.
Yeah. And I said, I've always wanted to do Ben Nevis. And I asked if he could join. He said, yeah, there's a few of us. My boys come in, he said, and everything. I said, I asked if Jake could join us, and I'd mentioned it to Jake, and he was well up for it. And unfortunately, it was when we lost Jake. And this was all just after the first lockdown, when we was allowed out again, after the first lockdown in COVID. So my wife joined me in honour of Jake. We still did it, and this was 5 days before Jake's funeral, and that was the only day I didn't go to see him in the chapel of rest at the hospital. So I went to visit him every single day. They told me I could. I didn't want to leave him that first day. And I stroked his nose from top to bottom, as I did as a baby when he was unsettled, and sung him, "Oh, hush, little baby." So, yeah, so that day, going up Nevis, it was probably the longest time it took to do Ben Nevis after I've started taking on challenges and things and become faster. But the group and everything, it was such a diverse group we went with. It was one hell of an experience because of how raw it still was for me. And something changed in me that day and told me I needed to be in more places like this, the mountains and outdoors, and push myself, test my limits as well. I wanted to know what I could achieve. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted my boy to be something more than I could ever be. And I had to learn something from the world. I needed to learn something. And that coming from putting myself outdoors and been I shut off from my family quite a lot that first year. A lot of people thought I was very selfish, but I just didn't want to live. And if I'm honest, I was planning to not come back most times when I went into the outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Oh. And this is okay. I've learned to be okay with this.
Love
These
it.
tears. I'm perfectly fine with it.
Love it.
So I know it's raw. It's real. That's a reality when we lose people.
But here's a squaddy, here's an army man, here's a
Yeah.
prison officer, who can say it's good, it's all right to show this raw emotion.
Yeah.
I just wish the world could learn that lesson. Yeah, such an important lesson, John.
Very.
Thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you went up Ben Nevis, and then you had Jake's funeral, which is always so impactful. But you've also got other family. You have a wife. You have other kids. How have they coped? How have you coped as a family? What have you done together? How has it worked out?
They say statistically, where everything coming at all angles from people that have gone through their own experiences, and they say statistically most couples don't survive losing a child despite how they lost the child.
Yeah.
And it definitely put a lot of tension on my relationship with my wife that first year especially, and with my daughter from a previous marriage as well. And yeah, Katie, my youngest, you've met, they've come up to visit me today. And she was too young, I think, to understand at the time, but you never know what they're going through. They're all dealing with it differently in their own way. So, but yeah, it can just, do you know what, it can tear you apart. It can tear, the ripple effect is so catastrophic, and I didn't want to be around people, never mind my own family, because I didn't want to be I felt that burden. So I get it. I get it when people feel that way. I really do. I was that burden. I was massively that burden. I felt like I weren't the best person to be around, and I weren't going to be a good influence for my other children. So, yeah.
Such a tough gig, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you have clearly been suicidal.
Yes. Yeah. I planned my own death every day for that first year. I can't even pinpoint how many days, but I just say that first year, because every day's just another day to me now. I don't live in the past or the future. I literally planning my own death. I don't know how many times in my own head as well I was doing that.
And I'll come back to that if I may, because it's such an important part of your story, how you've dealt with that, and indeed how you are dealing with it, because it's, I think we make a mistake to say that the grieving ends. It doesn't end. It's just there. It's how you deal with it in the moment. So if you'll allow me, I'll come back to that. But I wanted to ask you about anger.
Firstly, can I get a tissue, because I can just feel my nose and everything sniffling?
Of course you can. No problem at all. So, John, I wanted to ask you really about anger. We know that anger is a major part of most suicide grieving journeys. Have you been angry? Are you angry? Are you still angry?
Anger's a normal emotion. It's nothing that we should be ashamed of, I think, but it's learning not to act on it. For me, I've had to learn not to act on it. I've been a very impulsive person most of my life. The first year, which I spoke briefly about sort of not wanting to be here, I was very angry. I was very, very angry. I was angry at the entire world.
Yeah.
I was angry at anybody in the world that would say what I thought was the wrong thing. Everyone was a problem. I started looking into luckily I started looking into like Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, and theology, and understanding. I had to understand how my mind worked if I was going to survive this. I realized I'm going to wake up every day without my son, and I was angry at the entire world. Yeah, and I hear a lot of people say about being angry at the child, and every time that's snuck in, is that a word up here?
Yeah,
Snuck?
snuck. Yeah, we'll do snuck.
Every time that thought snuck in, it was, I didn't want to be angry at my son. I don't think he knew the choice that they made fully. I really don't. And the consequences of it, I do. I'm a grown man. And I take full responsibility for who I am and accountability. And this is something I had to learn through all this. But I was that angry when I was suicidal. If there was a self-destruct button for humanity in the world, I would have pressed it, if I'm honest. And I truly believe when you look into the works of the great Alan Watts, if you ever come across him, from died in the 70s, he talks about with nuclear and everything like that, and having one person responsible to be able to press that button. All it takes is one person that's lost everything, that don't want to be here, and it'd take the whole world with him. And that's why you have to have a cabinet, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why you have to have a cabinet. No one person can be responsible for making that decision. But I had to evolve, shall we say? I had to evolve my own mindset and challenge myself. So rather than judging other people, and I'd rather go inside and judge myself. Why am I thinking that bad of other people, and being angry towards other people? And then that led me to learning more about Carl Jung's work, and the dark soul of the night. All of us having parts of ourselves we're ashamed of, and there's bad and good inside every single one of us, which you choose to feed. And it led me on to doing a hell of a lot of self-reflection. And there's moments where it taught me more compassion, if I'm honest, taught me more empathy. So I've reached a point where I don't want there to be any room in my heart for anger. I really don't. There's no room in my heart for anger anymore. Don't get me wrong, I have my moments. If I get somebody sort of poke me a little bit and start shouting at me for whatever they're going through, that's on them. That's them. That's a projection of that person. And I will respond to that sometimes. I'm only human. I will respond. If somebody shouts at me, or I'll turn on sort of my ex-military sort of head sometimes. I'll try my best to be appropriate and things, but I'm not going to stand by and be a pushover in life either. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's important to put boundaries in place, isn't it? It's very important. You teach people how you want to be treated, and they don't have any choice then. You know what I mean? You breed self-respect. It teaches others to do the same.
I guess this all leads nicely into this issue of when you're walking, you're dressed as Deadpool, the Marvel comic character, and we're seeing a bit of that today. Not your main suit that you wear when you walk, and you call yourself Deadpool. Yeah.
Well, the internet called me Deadpool.
Oh, I see.
I thought I'll have that.
Well, there you are.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Can you tell us about your meeting with Ryan Reynolds, the bath, because you carry a bath when you walk, the ducks, and a flag that is unfurled behind you, which has the photographs of so many people, including Cameron, on it. So can you just tell us all about this? It's fascinating.
Yeah, that's not something I can wrap up in a nutshell, sort of thing, is it?
Go for it.
So Jake and I love the Marvel superhero franchise. We watched the whole lot from beginning to end. And for anybody out there listening in, if they understand with the end game with the Avengers and things, we just got to watch the end game before we lost Jake as well. And I had a big monument I built out of Lego for him with Jake written in a black wall because he loved Deadpool, Jake in red writing, and "Love You 3000" from the Iron Man saying at the end of the Avengers. But the Deadpool, Jake was a cheeky sort of kind of guy, rebel. Everybody knows that Deadpool is R-rated. And he was 15 years old, you know what I mean? We're going on like 21 and just knew probably a little bit more than he should do, which they pick up in high school, upper school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had to incorporate that in. It helped me still have a connection with Jake. I had to learn to find him again in my heart as well. So yeah. And I needed something. I've been taking on challenges for a good 2 to 3 years at this point, taking on extreme challenges, long distance, mountainous. And I don't want to say it was becoming easy for me, but anything that I did was not as difficult as waking up without my son. So I minimized it. I learned to minimize these things. I learned to take on all the elements as well, and didn't worry about any storms or anything coming in. I just tackled it, and I learned to adapt to survive. And I needed something. I needed something else. It's like, if I'm totally honest, you've got so many people setting up pages and doing amazing things, and then you see certain things, and it's like my mind how it worked. It was like I'd set up a GoFundMe page to do a challenge to raise money for setting the charity up, and I'm up there crying at the top of one of the mountains where I did the Wainwrights coast to coast because it weren't budging, and you can put the emphasis on that too much. I think when you're doing these challenges, thinking, you know, I need to set this charity up, I need to put these things in place to show people there's more, and we can do more, and we can help more people and things as well. And I needed something visual. I needed something. It became more than me. What I do became more than me. I needed something that was going to have an impact on more people and do this for others as well as myself. I learned to do more and for other people than I actually do for myself. Yeah. So, and it stood out. And I think from people that know me from years ago, I think I might have been a bit of an attention seeker. I think I'd do it for that, if I'm honest. And there's none of that. If it was for me, I'd disappear into the mountains and wouldn't have social media at all. Yeah. I aim to use this to create more good and do more for humanity. So it just become more relevant as time went on. Deadpool, the character, lost his wife and didn't want to be here. He was going through pain, and I didn't realise that until Ryan brought that to my attention. That had not actually logged in my head. My head weren't thinking that. It was just Jake's favourite character, and I needed something else. And a friend of mine carried a fridge up and down mountains and took it up Kilimanjaro. And then so sat there. I need something visual. I sat there with a few friends after one of our charity walks. And I can't remember who it was now, but someone said, what about a bathtub? And you've got to dress as Deadpool, because obviously Jake loves Deadpool. And, but then my mind went, I'm like, yeah, I could cut the bottom out. I could stand inside this bathtub, put it up like I'm wearing it, have it on an harness system. I could have rubber ducks all around the edge, and have the names of lost loved ones, other parents and people out there that's lost people to suicide. Can I have a duck on there representing the lost loved one? They're like, let's get a flag with the photos on. Let's see their faces. Because you want your child to live on. Do you know what I mean? I thought that would do so much more for these people out there as well. And it all went from there. And it was about 15 kilograms at first, but I think with all my attachments on it for vlogging and everything, it's about 20 kilograms now. But it's an unsteady load. So even the bathtub, it's that burden on your shoulders you don't see. And it's an unstable load that rocks, and I have to hold it when I'm walking, and you can't see your footing. So waking up to put one foot in front of the other can be the most difficult thing for people when they're struggling, when they don't want to be here. Yeah. So it's what it represents to me There's no way I can't learn to walk and adapt in that bathtub. I've learned to develop total equanimity, and I'm scanning the area. So my impulsive thoughts and things, I'm sure I may be ADHD or something, John. I've learned to hone in on something, and it's survival mode. I know it's survival mode in the brain. I can go there whenever I need it, but I've learned to become comfortable there
And
as well.
tell me, where did the great Ryan Reynolds enter the scene?
Yeah. So, so a friend said, "How would you like? I think I know a way how to get Ryan Reynolds involved," and said, "What about walking from Mansfield Town, where we live, to Wrexham? We're both in the same league, and getting there for when Wrexham play." And I've always had this thing that I don't like the rattling the pot when we go out with charities. I hate the rattling the pot. I hate their expectations. It goes against everything I stand for, even though you have to sort of raise funds and things as well. Because it's like, I feel like you're putting pressure on people. Can you imagine how many people will be contacting Ryan Reynolds and inboxing and with children that are really sick and things? He does a lot for sick children foundations, don't he, and things. But I was just absolutely astonished that we did first of all, we did a big interview with Mansfield Town media team. And as much as the effort everyone else put in, my friend, chair of trustees, and Andy Vesey, what he's put into this and believing in me is absolutely unreal, honestly. And he planned this whole walk. He put so much into it. And yeah, it was very emotional. The walk to Wrexham was very emotional. But the icing on the cake, I think, because Mansfield Town have the biggest footprint on social media in Mansfield, they did a full interview. Right, we need you down here in the suit, in the Deadpool suit, and it was just a PVC type suit at the time because I was buying it all myself. Do you know what I mean? As well, and the bathtub. And they did like a 9-minute compressed interview because it's like with Ryan. It was 3 minutes interview with Ryan, and it's about people switch off when they're scrolling through social media. Do you know what I mean? They switch off. You've got to really go to town. And they're brilliant at what they do with these things. So and that I think was the icing on the cake. What Ryan Scenics obviously will play Mansfield, and he's co-owner with Rob McElhenney of Wrexham. So let's get cracking then. Let's do it and stuff. And it's and I ended up Mansfield Town had me on the pitch, doing a big talk and everything before they kicked off the week before we set off, and then we started walking that day. And it was a short day because the football match was only mid-afternoon, so we only did a short day. It's 140 miles over 7 days. So the majority of the days were like 20 miles. Two had to be a 26, 27 miler because we had like a 13, 14 miler for 2 days starting and finishing because of the match times. And got to Ripley, and I was not far from home there, so we stayed close to home. I went back home, sat there on the settee with my wife, and I've not even got any following on Twitter at all. I was trying to build up my following to do more. And there's a message in my inbox. I looks at it, and it's a blue tick at the side of the name, Ryan Reynolds. I just sat there like, no. I said, Joe, my wife sat at the side of me like, no. She's like, what? Because I was shocked I was signing. I was like, I've got a message from Ryan Reynolds. And wow, what a message it was. The compassion and the understanding and it invited me to meet him. He wanted to interview me and things, and we chatting for quite a while through messages, and follows me now on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and yeah, stayed in touch and things, and
Such lovely support.
yeah, massively, yeah. It's
in the midst of all of this, things are happening inside your head, obviously.
Yeah.
So, what do you think you've learned most about yourself, John, over this last 5 years now? 6 years, coming up in 6 years since Jake died.
I've learned that how important it is to protect yourself and be the best version of myself, give the best version back to the world. There's a point where I wanted to change other people in the world, which I think you see quite a lot of within people. There's 8 billion people in the world. Why would we expect 8 billion people to change to suit our needs? Do you know what I mean? So we
Feels
change.
just a little bit arrogant, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So the self-importance, arrogance, any narcissistic tendencies I see in myself or anything like that, and we all have them. We all have them from time to time. I judge myself instead of other people, and I want to be a better human being. I don't consider that I was a bad human being before, but I feel that I could have done more
Yeah.
for my son. There's no bigger failure than thinking you could not keep your own child alive. I feel I could have done more for him. So instead of expecting others to change, I become the change I want to see. So I give the best version of myself back to the world. I wake up every morning in a poor me mentality. There's not one day gone by since I lost Jake. I've thought, I've woken up again. I've got to do this again without him. But I find him in my heart and choose to go on. So it's like I'm giving him a second chance.
Yeah.
It's like I'm giving my son a second chance through me. So, and I'll give the best version of me back to the world every day.
Amazing. Tell me, if you would, about your charity Walking for Hope.
Okay.
And what your intentions are with that. What are your plans with the charity?
So I've had this vision right from the beginning. I wanted to set up an outdoor type base camp. So our motto with Walking for Hope is resilience through nature, and work with families and young people as well, and helping people there. It's not just about bereaved parents and people bereaved of suicide. It's about the preventative measures. It's about creating something, a safe place where people can go, and that community spirit as well. So there's so many ideas for when we do this, but it's something I want to create so special and accessible to as many people in the heart of the UK as possible. But it don't just stop there. It's not just supporting people in our local community for me. So look at the people I'm meeting, yourself, John, and the amazing work you're doing. The Three Dads Walking, Mike McCarthy with the Baton of Hope. The list is endless. Sue came out the other day, didn't she, as well? Susan Hart,
Yeah.
Susan Dre. I can keep going. There's loads of people that I'm connecting with. I'm only one person. We're all doing our own thing throughout the country. Can you imagine somewhere who's actually looking after our well-being? Can you imagine being able to sort of have a get together there as well, say once a year or something, get together, see where we're all at, but us switching off from the suicide thing for a while, being able to switch off from it and be there for each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's
lead on,
endless.
Sir. Lead on. Amazing. What a great vision.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And thank you for your leadership in it as well. Really, really appreciate that. John, I want to take you on a slightly different journey with questions now. Hearing your background, hearing your story, hearing the importance of your message. We're dealing with a bit of a national struggle with suicide. Numbers are slightly better in Scotland over the last year, but across the United Kingdom, generally suicide numbers are not going down. Yeah. What do you think is going on?
Do you know what? I don't get involved in the numbers so much as most people do, and I know that might sound a bit ignorant or something. I don't know, but I started looking at it, started researching things. It's like I don't believe statistics, if I'm honest with you. I think, how did they come up with these statistics anyway? Do you know what I mean? It's. I remember, and I joked about this. I remember a friend of my mum's saying, "Oh, when I was really in shape doing fitness and things," and she said, "I know somebody that was really fit and died quite at a young age, and I know someone that smoked all their life and lived to a long age." Like, so next time we do a survey, then let's just ask two people.
Ask two questions of two people.
So I don't really get. I know it sounds bad, that I think, but it's like, look at.
It doesn't sound bad because you're so focused on the individual.
Yeah.
And I see that when I've walked with you. It's quite a lesson in life, because two things happen. One, you're absolutely focused in the moment.
Yep.
So everything else that's going on round about, I'm focused in the moment, and I'm focused absolutely in the person in front of me. Yeah.
I can't focus on anything else.
And it's such a beautiful thing. I've folded my arms and I've walked with you, and I've stood back and I've thought, do you know what? This man really cares. This man really cares for this moment and for this person in front of him. We stopped yesterday when we walked with, there were four guys, you remember it, four dads, yeah. And you could see the light bulb going on in every single one of them as the conversation happened. Go home and hug your boys. Yeah. Go home and hug your girls. Go home and hug your kids. And it was such an impactful moment. Yeah. So I get the idea that the statistics are all very well, they're out there, and yeah, true or untrue, they're out there. Yeah. But what you're focused on is not that, it's the person that's in front of me.
I can't focus on anything else.
How can I help them? How can I support them?
Yeah. And I think that's the best preventative measures. I think being our best self and actually caring, not just going through the motions, actually caring. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how many times do you sit and talk to somebody and they're just, you can get the entire energy that they're just waiting for you to finish so they can tell you what they want to say. That it's not even registered. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not even registered at all. I think old me didn't see that, and I always talk about old me and new me. I've created like a new me. It's like, I don't know if it's like an alter ego or nothing, but if I'm honest, with the works of Alan Watts, we all create an ego construct of what we think the world wants to see from us. I don't create an ego construct anymore. If anything, this old Deadpool persona is like an alter ego where I can just switch and take on what I need to take on. But I know how to be my true, authentic self. And that shines through in this ego, I think, to what I've created.
Well, I've seen it in the way that you handle and interact with me and with other people. So good on you, and keep going, sir. Keep building that vision. In Scotland, we don't have a system of coroner's inquests. You do in England.
Yeah.
Do you think, by and large, it's a good system? Do you think that you learned anything from the inquest on Jake's death?
So do you know how this with how I live in the moment, which says I've never been really good academically or anything like that. I've always been an hands-on type person. But I remember the old inquest briefly. But where my mind was then when that all happened, it's not fully registered. I don't think that's even registered yet properly. I do know that my ex-wife took most control over all that, and I think that there was a lot of, this is where I be careful not to tell other people's story, because they decided Jake died of an accident. And I think this is a common thing with young people under 18. And these don't even then fall into the statistics. So this is where the statistics aren't actually as right as we think they are as well. I don't know, is that for me, I don't think that decision they come up with, I think it might have been better for my ex-wife and daughter from a previous marriage, but then at the time, it's like, so even though it was not like classed as an accident because he made an impulsive decision based on his emotions at the time, and we're just putting that word suicide in a box again. It's like suppressing feelings for what? For it to come out later on. I mean, I opened up Pandora's box because I looked for reasons to go. I faced every worst part of me. And this is why we have to have therapists in place. There's no therapist or counsellor out there that can help me at all. They can't fix this. Yeah. We have to want to fix ourselves. Yeah. We need to take that step ourselves. It comes back to us. So I think, back onto that question, I don't know, John. I don't know an answer to that. I think it's a little bit meddling, if I'm honest. If I'm totally honest, it's meddling and not always true.
It seems to be helpful for some people, seems to be really difficult for other people. It happens too quickly for some families. They've had no time to reflect. It happens too long out for some families. So
it also always comes back to perception, don't it, as well, though?
It does.
Our own perspectives.
It does. So. Yeah. Tell me this. I'm going to just elevate your alter ego now to a very, very high level, and I'm going to pass you a blank sheet of paper across the table and say, John Bell, you now have an unlimited budget and you now have unlimited resources. What would you like to do to bring the numbers of suicides down in the United Kingdom?
Do you know, I used to hear people this was before I lost Jake, I used to hear people say, if I won the lottery, this is what I'd do. And I thought, you know, and I heard him say, I'd go on this holiday and I'd do this and I'd do that. And I thought, you know what I'd do? and this falls into this for the unlimited budget. And I'd thought about this quite a lot. And through all my careers that I've done, I've come across some amazing people that really mean well. And I've got no hidden agenda here at all, but pure survival and just being my best self and hopefully save lives. That's my only agenda now, to save lives, create something that can help people find the best in themselves. And I want to be able to be a better inspiration every single day, to show people that we can become our own inspiration, to have that self-worth.
Yeah.
So I had this thing years ago where I would have created sort of a big, massive sort of residential place for young people, and like kids in care that you see now as well, and have them like build up to incentives for things to have to monitor to encourage good behaviour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because instead of concentrating on the bad behaviour and things like that, because I worked in the prison system, obviously, but obviously have a more child friendly approach. Do you know what I mean? And one section that's residential, one section where it's just if they're live with people that can come and go. Yeah, and all the people that I've come across that I meet that I see have got these values that really want to put back in, I'd put them on a proper wage with getting a proper pension. None of this is 0 hours contract, so they can go back and have a normal 40-hour week and not have to do 80 hours a week to pay the bills. They had enough to see their family and have a nice life as well, so they could come back in a better mindset and contribute more. And it's very similar to what I want to do now, I think, with the land to a certain degree. But I want it to be more outdoorsy sort of thing with what we're doing. Have maybe some cabins and some pods there where we can support, as well as creating revenue for the charity, keep it at a very reasonable cost, and it keeps the charity sustainable, but then gift them to people that are in a bad place as well. Do you know what I mean? To be able to gift them, like a retreat place there. So there's so many ideas that I can go to with it. And it'd be more about putting back in and helping work and doing sort of doing maybe workshops and things as well with people for helping people create more resilient mindsets and develop self-worth, believing in themselves. That's key. That's key. You truly got to believe in yourself. I just want to put back in.
How important do you think it is to meet other people who have lost to suicide? So you meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
You connect a lot of people who have lost to suicide. You clearly inspire other people. Important to meet other people who have been impacted by suicide.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I aim to treat everybody with respect, no matter what we've gone through. And anyway, do you know what I mean? It's just how I operate now, and meeting other people in this same situation. I mean, but even then, every situation is different still. Every situation is different, isn't it?
It is.
But yeah, it's so important. So important.
It seems that when people who have lost to suicide hug one another, there's a strange electricity, a strange connectedness.
Well, you just understand, don't you? You understand. You understand it. It's like because I think you've clearly got to go through the thoughts yourself. Most people, because how can you not when your child, despite what complexities are involved, your child has made that choice themselves. Yeah. So where did I go wrong? Yeah. That's a question, isn't it?
The big question, and I guess it takes me to another question. In all that you've learned about suicide over these last years, what do you think we need to do?
I think
we know it's complex. We know it's a huge thing, and everyone's different. But what have you learned about suicide and how to prevent it, do you think?
I think being more compassionate and kind, without a shadow of a doubt. But that starts with yourself. Yeah. That starts with yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
It's, I feel energy everywhere. I feel energy in rooms. I feel energy in people. And you can read people, the body language, the energy. I see things. It's ever so strange. I've sent messages just through certain posts. I've looked between the lines when people put stuff on social media, and sent a message, and the responses I've got back from people, they were shocked that I'd seen it, sort of thing. It's like, and it was like a subliminal message in there, sort of thing, or something you could see, because I've been in that place.
Yes.
I know that thought process.
Yes.
I see it very well.
Yeah.
But I think helping people to not self-loathe. If we respond, here we go. If we respond to hate, this is one of my favourite phrases from Dr. Wayne Dyer. If we learn to respond to hate with love at all times, okay, so we can quite adopt all these negative energies. If you take an orange and squeeze an orange, you will only ever get orange juice. And a child can understand that. So all this anger, all this pain, and anger is a normal emotion. It's not, I'm not saying be ashamed of yourself because you're angry. Yeah. Anger is a normal emotion, but we project our own anger onto each other as well. We project that. So when you're holding all these negative emotions and this negative energy, anger, pain, suffering, and you don't learn to utilize that to the best of your abilities, you squeeze a person full of anger and pain and hurt. It's all you're going to get back. So if you learn to cultivate inside yourself loving kindness, which is a Buddhist term, loving friendliness, so that basically that compassion that you give yourself, you squeeze a person full of love, what are you going to get is love. So and it's like, it's difficult when people have had, like with kids and care and stuff like that as well, and people have had a bad start. It's easy to have that poor me mindset. You're a victim. And probably are a victim, but we don't have to become a victim. We don't have to continue that victim's mindset because of a situation. You know what I mean? You're a victim to your situation, but don't need to carry that victim's mindset.
And do you think if we trained individuals in compassionate self-care, that together cumulatively could really change society?
I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Emotional regulation. It's so important. And if you look at the school system and things that's in place in a lot of places, I think we're getting there slowly. But every single person's got to be on board instead of thinking a mindset like go back to, why should I change for the world? Why should I change?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone needs to work around me. This is how I do things. That's a mentality that you see a lot of. And you're part of the problem. But then you fall into the tabooness of suicide then, because you might think you're a burden.
Yeah. No,
I think there's always going to be a taboo element around suicide. Yeah. We're all important. We all need to learn to be more respectful to each other, but it starts with yourself. If you do not respect yourself, how can you truly respect another person? If you do not love yourself, how can you truly love another person?
I like it. It sounds like you're a phenomenally busy person, but what are your pastimes? What does John Bell do to chill?
Run up and down mountains.
Yeah, here we are.
Push myself.
So this is the second rest day since you started walking from John O'Groats to Lansdowne. What do you do on your first rest day? You're in Fort William. What do you do? You flipping climb Ben Nevis.
Sub 5 hours at that.
Yeah. And you find the snow at the top on a summer's day.
Oh, it's lovely. I come sliding down on my backside. It was great. It felt like being a kid again.
So behind that though, is it you finding space for yourself? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. That was for me. That was for me. This whole walk is for everybody else. If I'm honest, that day was for me. I went up without the bathtub, put the Deadpool suit on, and that was me. I was just in my own thoughts. I like being in my own thoughts. But every step I've drawn off, it's ever so strange. And I've never been religious or spiritual or anything like that. And all the type of voodoo. I don't want people to think, oh, it's all voodoo type stuff or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But it's something all of us could tap into. It's something I truly believe every single one of us can tap into. The power of the human mind is absolutely incredible. It really is. And I found a way how to tap into that and be my best self and never give up on myself. And I sometimes don't like saying that, because it's like then, I've mentioned this a few times, by saying I've learned to never give up on myself, a lot of people listening think, oh, are you saying that my child gave up on themselves then? They don't know. They just didn't understand the consequences of it. They didn't understand how to develop a mindset to care enough about themselves to stay. I think it's a sad thing when our thought processes take us to a place where we think the world would be better without us. I think that's a very sad state to live in. It really is. And it's our own state of mind, isn't it? This is what mental health's all about, isn't it? Having a good, positive mindset.
Indeed. Any unfulfilled aspirations for life yet, John?
Do you know what? No, there is a lot I'd love to do. There's a lot I'd love to do. I got obsessed with Everest and the Pacific Crest Trail, but I've got a family that need me as well, and I've reached a point where I'm actually okay. I don't need to do this for me anymore. But it's all bigger than me with the charity and everything. And that, if I'm totally honest, John, I feel I've contributed to this world more than enough. So every day I get to stay, I want to contribute more and just give back more. Because if I died today, right now, tomorrow, I have fully made my peace with that. I'm okay. I've died an happy man because I got that time with my son. However, my pain then transfers
to others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I choose to stay for others, especially my own family.
Yeah.
It's those that suffer. I can actually outlive every single member of my family and deal with whatever pain this world will throw at me, because it's not the world throwing at me. It's inside my own mind. It's my own thought processes. And
there's only
I've
one
learned to
person
take
in there, and
control
it's you.
over those. Exactly.
Yeah.
I've become. I'm not controlled by my thought processes anymore. I've learned to control my own narrative. That's why I practice every day to give the best version of me back to the world.
And I guess that comes to my second last question, which is, how do you stay safe in this world?
Well, there's something, like I said, that we can all tap into, and how the brain works, your amygdala, your limbic region. I had to start learning more about that. Like I said, I'm never very academic. I've learned to tap into that. Let's call it what it is. It's survival mode.
Yep.
I've learned to tap into that, but I've learned to become comfortable there. So it's like when you talk about heaven and hell. A lot of people talk about it. So no disrespect to whatever belief system people believe in. I think all belief systems are just trying to teach humans to be better human beings towards each other. And I wake in my own hell. It's here on earth right now to me. Hell, heaven. Why should we be trying to create a heaven right here instead of thinking, oh, I wish I go to heaven. I'm going to be a nice person, so I'll get to heaven. Well, practice being a nice person here. Do you know what I mean? Don't start beating yourself up. Practice doing that here. This can be your heaven or your hell. And I wake in my own hell. So I'll see the darkness every single day. But I choose to become comfortable there and shine a light so bright in that place. So
you have this great phrase that if you can't see the sunlight, be the sunlight.
Yeah, you can't see the sunshine, be the sunshine.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I had heard it. I don't know if I heard it before. I don't know if it was Paddy McGuinness that said it or something. But I said it before. But no, there's a young lady that was at school with Jake, and she did some fundraising to have a yellow rose bush planted for Jake, and there's a lovely little plaque at his school with his name in big bold, right, like a wooden plaque put in at the side of the rose bush, in front of the rose bush. And it says Jake Bell, and then underneath it says, when you can't see the sunshine, be the sunshine. There's a variation. I think it actually says, when you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine. Okay. But I've always been saying, when you can't see the sunshine, be the sunshine. Yeah.
It's a great phrase.
And it's just, well, it's like you might not want to do it for yourself, but you know what? There's so many people out there in bad places, so shine that light for other people, and you feel it yourself. Doing more, I get more doing for others than I could ever do doing solely for me. Yeah. It's like a cycle, but then you've got to protect yourself, because there's people out there that will take advantage of that. And I think that's what most humans worry about, if I'm honest. They will take advantage of that. So putting boundaries in place and teaching people how you want to be treated so you can stay safe. And this is how it's all about preventative measures. Everything I do, I'm preventing myself from dying because I truly want to live. Amazing. Even though I've made my peace with death, I can truly live now. And I'm reborn every single day because I find my son in my heart. And if that's where he's going to live, John, And I said this to Ryan. Reynolds, when everyone texting me when I just call him Ryan, like I'm on first name terms with him. I said this. I said this to Ryan. I said, so if my boy's going to live in my mind, all the thoughts I've got from him, I'm going to create the most resilient mind I can to protect myself and be here for my family, so they don't have to deal with losing me. And I'm going to make my heart the most beautiful place for Jake to live. And Ryan Reynolds sat there and said, John, I want to rent a room in your heart.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
John, I always finish every podcast with a really important question, because there will be people who are watching and listening to this podcast who are struggling today. So if someone is listening or watching and is planning to take their life today, this question always catches me.
Mm-hmm. Does me as well.
What,
it's not something I can wrap up in a nutshell.
What would you like to say to them?
I think it's relevant. I look to the camera when I say this, if I'm honest. Yeah. You are the reason that I stay. Every single human being on this planet, I choose to stay to show you we can be more than we suffer. We just need to learn to love ourselves and believe in ourselves. It is possible. Please stay. I love you more than I love myself.
John, thank you so much. It's been a total privilege to have you and Jake in your heart with us. Thank you for being part of the podcast. Thank you for being part of the Canmore Trust Podcast.
Thank you.
Keep walking.
Always.
Keep bringing the sunshine.
Always will. There's nothing will stop this.
Well, thank you for being part of this Canmore Trust podcast today. I hope that meeting John Bell has been helpful. John has raised significant aspects to think about for us all, and it's been such a pleasure to have him with us. I so hope you've benefited from being here. Of course, your safety is always paramount to us here at the Canmore Trust. And so if anything of today's discussion between John and myself has activated concerns within you about you or someone that you know's safety or well-being, would you please reach out? You can engage with the Canmore Trust at any time of the day or night by texting Canmore, C-A-N-M-O-R-E, to 85258, or you can dial the Papyrus Hope Line, their 24/7 Hope Line, on 0800 068 4141, or call the Samaritans any time of the day or night on their national line 116 123. Can I remind you, please, to take a look at the Canmore Trust's website, www.thecanmoretrust.co.uk, where we have an exhaustive list of resources for anyone seeking help on any aspect of well-being, mental ill health, or suicide. Please do use it, dear friends. So if you're struggling, would you please reach out? And if you're concerned about someone else, please reach out. Please stay safe and please stay well. And if you can't see the sunshine, be the sunshine.